Good evening, creatures of the grove. Welcome to the Spooky Six. 6 records, 6 sinister themes, 6 ways the wax called from below. Tonight, we'll open the gate one album at a time and see what lurks in the shadows of our shelves. So light your candles, drop the needle, and prepare your soul for the soundtrack of the damned.
Okay, enough of that. Gordon, I dig vinyl. I thought as it's Halloween, well, it's not Halloween, is it? It's October. So this is spooky season, a couple of weeks to go till it culminates with trick or treat night, Halloween night, Galoshians, whatever you want to call it, depending where you're from. Thought it would be fun to put together a wee video celebrating all things spooky. So we've got 6 albums here. They've all got a kind of spooky vibe to them in some way or another. And I invite you to have a wee shot yourself in the spirit of the season. Have a look at your vault, see what you've got, see what is out there, see what haunts you, and let's celebrate all things. Ooh. Okay, so first one is Mark of the Beast. So basically show a couple of album covers that are spooky, weird, supernatural, freaky. What have you got? So here's a couple from me. This is definitely, I think, the spookiest or weirdest album cover I've got. Check it out. It's from Zito Righi and his orchestra. It's called Allucinolandia from 1969. Eyes and a couple of hands holding a couple of eyeballs. But strangely enough, it's nothing like the album cover at all. It's great samba, bossa nova kind of music. Album was released in, I think, 1969, but the music's very reminiscent of sort of early 60s Brazilian stuff. Some great singing by the likes of Sonia Santos. A couple of the tracks are a little bit psychedelic in their vibe, but actually most of it's really quite traditional. All great, and totally doesn't match up the album cover. One that does, on the other hand, kind of cool cover, check it out, is this album by Goat, which was released, I think it was last year. So Goat, they of the Masks, Swedish, cool, psyche, fuzzy, sort of pagan vibe almost. It's a good album cover, and it kind of suits the music that's going on here. Sort of ritualistic, shamanic, if that's a thing. Songs like Zombie, probably the catchy one. It's a great tune. It opens up with One More Death, so I suppose that's quite appropriate for songs of the spooky season, albums of the spooky season. So, two to share. This one by Goat. What have you got? Oh, okay. Next up, Sounds from the Shadows. An album that you think of as having a spooky vibe, something supernatural or an undertone running through it that's just a little off kilter. When I think of that, this is the one that springs to mind, funnily enough. Hip hop, Cypress Hill's amazing Temples of Boom. I think it's their third album, and it's an album that I picked up just earlier on this year on vinyl, but I've listened to it many times. And what I like about it is that vibe. It's a supernatural, spooky vibe all the way through. You can get it from the cover of it from the start. But it's really the production, the musicality, the rapping itself. It all contributes to this overarching kind of weird spookiness, I would say. Songs like Boom Biddy Bye Bye, Locotes, Illusions, stuff like that. You've got this kind of amazing production. There's kind of haunting little piano samples and sort of howling noises in the background while the rapping goes on. It's just brilliant, and it's one that really kind of suits this sort of season. So my supernatural sounding album is this classic from Cypress Hill, Temples of Boom. Okay, music of the undead. An artist who's no longer with us, they've passed away, but whose music you still enjoy and who graces your turntable regularly. It could be a band, it could be a musician, could be whatever you want. But what I thought about was actually this album by Led Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti, and it's a kind of testament to Bonzo, John Bonham. Drumming is absolutely incredible. Obviously, Zeppelin's a band where every member's just at the kind of top of their game all the way through, but I think on this album, the drumming of John Bonham's just probably at its finest for me, and you could distill that right into the kind of Titanic drumming on Kashmir. So every crash, every cymbal, every beat of everything, just incredible. An absolute titan behind the kit there, and he's immortal because of stuff like that. Long gone now, and his death is obviously the end of Zeppelin effectively as well. But he lives on in his music, and it's this one and it's Kashmir in particular that make me think of Bonham at his best. So yeah, cheers to John. Next one is Soundtrack to Fear. Soundtrack to Fear. Yep. Yep. So basically, a soundtrack to a spooky film or a supernatural movie, real or imagined. So I've gone for imagined, and I might be off the beaten track a wee bit with this one. I need the glasses as well. But I picked out the debut album by the Hologram People, which is called Sacred Ritual to Unlock the Mountain Portal. Hologram People is a duo, released quite a number of albums now. This one, I can't remember quite when it came out. It was remastered and remixed in summer 2024, and it is an imaginary movie, like I think all of their albums are an imaginary soundtrack. This one I think deviates off into kind of sci-fi as well, so handily enough, it's on lovely pumpkin orange there, as you can see. But the glasses are on just to read a little bit. What does it say? The Hologram People advise no one to attempt this journey without the correct and proper physical and mental preparation. Exercise extreme caution. The Hologram People take no responsibility for follies of the unlearned. Whoa. So check out the song titles. And you've got Sacred Ritual to Unlock the Mountain Portal, Pray to the Maple Witch, Lord Shiva's Mothership, and so on and so on. The music itself isn't particularly haunting. It's got more of a kind of psyche, space rock sort of vibe. I think it would probably make for an interesting film, and I've thought that of all their soundtracks. They kind of move around different sort of styles. I think that one might be a bit more of a slightly supernatural sci-fi. But anyway, it's all good music, really listenable, and all of their albums are as well. So shout out for the Hologram People. Monster Mash. The idea this time is you show an album that deals with something, a supernatural being. It could be a monster, it could be zombies, vampires, the devil himself, something like that, something of the undead, something of the occult. And what I thought I'd go for is this, the Blackest of Black albums. It's Metallica's self-titled album, isn't it? Or sometimes known as the Black Album. I picked it for just this one song in particular. Enter Sandman. What a song that is. And it brings back so many memories of being about, I don't know, maybe 15, something like that. I used to go up to my friend's house who had an older brother. And his older brother he was heavily into all kinds of metal music, stuff like Metallica, and some sort of heavier, I don't know what it was, grungy, speed metal, who knows, some of it pretty sort of demonic sounding. And I can remember many times down in the older brother's sort of basement room, and stuff like this was blasting away in the background. So Enter Sandman, all the nightmares that brings, and it brings back a lot of memories of being down in that basement and seeing some stuff down there that would certainly sometimes keep you awake at night, I have to tell you. Great album though. I listened to it again kind of recently. Plenty of brilliant songs on it. Stuff like The Unforgiven, Nothing Else Matters. But it's Enter Sandman, it's just an absolute classic. Okay, the final cut. So basically this is, what would you play at the end of the world? Think apocalypse, think the zombies are coming, think the meteors are raining down, the fires are firing, the floods are flooding, you've got one last record to play, you're looking out your window and it's all happening. What one's it going to be? When I thought about that, I thought this is quite heavy, all this stuff, and I wanted to lighten the mood. And actually, in a situation like that, I'd be reaching for something like Pet Sounds, the Beach Boys. Can't show that one off because I think I've filed that away somewhere for some reason, but that's a great juxtaposition of the end of the world and Brian Wilson at his absolute finest. So I haven't got that one for my final cut, but something else instead, if I can just pull it out, and it's not here. 1 minute. So I was going to go with the Beach Boys, and then I was actually going to go with something else. I was going to go Jimmy Cliff, but I've decided, I've changed my mind. It's all happening right here. I've got to go, my final cut is John Cale's Slow Dazzle. Why is that my final cut? Well, why not go out with some dirty ass rock and roll? And it is dirty ass rock and roll. I just love the cover of Heartbreak Hotel. It's from the Crypt. It really is. It's incredible. John Cale sounds completely unhinged. I've never heard the likes of this cover, so that would be a great one to just kind of enjoy whilst the world is afire, if you like. And really, the ultimate ending, whilst the apocalypse is happening, is that weird and wonderful track, The Jeweler. It kind of leaves you wanting to know a bit more. And I suppose in a very, very weird way, it's completely unplanned. It takes me back to the album cover that I showed right at the start with the eyeball. So I can't think of a more highly appropriate song. It's not really a song though, is it? Spoken word. Spoken word piece of art for the spooky season than John Cale performing The Jeweler. That is the final cut. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope it's maybe got you thinking about some spooky albums of your own. I've had a bit of fun making it up. As usual, it's got me kind of rummaging around my shelves and listening to things that I wouldn't have done otherwise. So.
And there it is. 6 spins from the shadows, 6 tales from the turntable, The wax has spoken and the darkness is satisfied. For now. If you've survived the seance, it's your turn to take the needle. Summon your own 6 sinister slides and tag it the Spooky 6 so the curse can continue to spread through the vinyl community. Until next time, keep your records clean and your soul delightfully filthy.